right, it's time to play a little Would You Rather with Big Cat. Let's get right into it. Would you rather, if you're Jerry Jones, lock Dak Prescott up to a long-term deal or sign Tom Brady, chase a championship, and take your chances after he retires?
This one's actually tough because Jerry Jones clearly desperately wants to get back to the Super Bowl. It's been a long, long time. I still think I would take my chances with the guy who's 26 long-term than Tom Brady's, a new system, a new setting, and you don't know what it's going to be in 2-3 years, whereas Dak Prescott should be hitting his prime in those 2-3 years.
Michael Irvin got this talk started on Friday. He was on WEEI in Boston, and he said some very significant people, air quotes, very significant people, told him that the Cowboys may make a run at Tom Brady. He had to put out the fire on social media the next day saying none of those people are with the Cowboys. Well, it doesn't change the fact that he said some very significant people told him watch Dallas as a landing spot for Tom Brady. So, look, if I'm Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones has made it clear over the past 5 years that he's keenly aware that he's only got so many more football seasons to try to engineer in a championship. And for 1 year, for this year, I love Dak Prescott, and they should pay Dak Prescott. But if this is 1 year, if this is it, if I got 1 year to live, and I'm Jerry Jones, and I know that I'm going up or down a year from now, I am taking Tom Brady for 1 year. To try to go out with a championship, I want Tom Brady over Dak Prescott.
But he doesn't have 1 year. I would assume he doesn't have 1 year. I agree with you. If the hypothetical changes to 1 year, Jerry Jones has one single year, I'd agree with you. But if you're saying, hey, Jerry Jones might have 10, 15, I don't know how old Jerry Jones is, modern medicine.
78.
He's going to have all the modern medicine at his disposal. He's 78, okay. Let's say 12 more years, okay? You got to go with Dak Prescott. You got to actually have a little foresight here and not just rush for the 1 year.
Here's the other thing that we need to factor in. We're going to move on to the next one. But we talked earlier about Dak Prescott's contract situation. At some point, there's a degree of exasperation that can set in for the Cowboys if Dak Prescott continues to say no, 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 and want more than what the Cowboys are willing to pay him. That's a factor in this as well. At what point do the Cowboys say, enough, we'll tag him, we'll trade him, and we'll sign Tom Brady? All right, if you're Ron Rivera, would you rather stick with the quarterbacks you have or try to get your old quarterback from Carolina into the fold in D.C.?
I think, Cam Newton is better than Dwayne Haskins. That's not like earth-shattering news. But if you are Ron Rivera and you know that the Redskins used a big asset, a high pick on Dwayne Haskins, you'd be better served to have that become something than go with Cam Newton this year. And, if you go with Cam Newton this year, you're basically saying Dwayne Haskins is not going to be a franchise quarterback. So I think, again, the long-term play here would be to say, let's see if we have someone with Dwayne Haskins instead of trying to do a short-term fix, short-term Band-Aid with Cam Newton.
Yeah, their concern, I think, with Haskins is he's going to feel like he's entitled, that the job is his, and maybe he doesn't bust his butt the way he would if he were competing. They're trying to create an atmosphere of competition, even if it's not real. And I think it helps Rivera in a weird sort of a job security way to be skeptical about Haskins, but embrace him ultimately. Because then if you go a year or two and Haskins isn't the guy, it's easier for you to stick around for year 3 and year 4 because you can say, hey, Dan, I was on record from day one. I'm not a big believer in Dwayne Haskins, but we couldn't just waste that draft pick, so we went ahead and gave him a couple of years. Now let me go get my guy, whoever Ron Rivera's guy ends up being. So, I've seen coaches go along with the status quo, knowing that they're not going to be blamed for failure if they just make it clear they have their doubts about the guy and then they see who they can get at quarterback later on. I'd stick with the guys I have. I don't know that Cam Newton wants to be in Washington. And if I'm Ron Rivera, for the same reason the Panthers may have Cam Newton injury and health fatigue, I definitely have it if I'm Ron Rivera. right? This constant question of, is my quarterback healthy? Will he stay healthy? Should he be playing? They let him play the first 2 games of the year when he had no business playing. Like, where is the person who says to Cam, go sit down? That's Rivera's job. I think Rivera's may be happy to be away from that dynamic. All right, next one. If you're Tom Brady, would you rather lose a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick or win another one with him?
I mean, this is kind of a silly question, isn't it? Would you rather have
another?
Yeah, but this one truly, like, would you rather have another Super Bowl or not have another Super Bowl? I think Tom Brady would take have another Super Bowl.
But to get to the mountain, even if you don't win to get there without Belichick, I guess, here's the question. If you lose to Belichick, if you're losing to Belichick in the Super Bowl, you don't want that.
That's different. Right. But 7 Super Bowls? Come on. I mean, that's crazy. The losing to Belichick would be the interesting, like, making this actually an interesting hypothetical here.
But listen, don't poo-poo the hypotheticals, right? You're calling out the control room ninja style here. Here's the thing. I think that at some level, this stuff that's happening between the Patriots and Brady ultimately is driven by Brady wanting to show he can do it without Belichick and Belichick wanting to show he can do it without Brady, right?
You've been big on this for a long time, and while there's probably some truth to it, I think it's very overstated.
But you admit there's some truth to it.
Of course there is. It's human nature. Egos come into play. Guys, I mean, working with someone for that many years, it's a testament to how, like, great they are that they have been able to make it work, because every relationship falls apart eventually when you're in this type of high-pressure, situation where you have to win all the time and people are handing out credit. That's a very, very hard spot to be in. I just think at the end of the day, there's probably a lot more mutual respect for each other than mutual animosity, if that's a good way to put it.
Well, and let me say this. I've yet to answer the question. I agree. Take the Super Bowl win, right? Tom Brady always says when he's asked what his favorite ring is, he says the next one. He always wants that next one, and he wants 7. Sim's theory has been he wants to get to 7 because 7 is one more than your guy Michael Jordan. So then at that point, people start saying Tom Brady is not just the greatest football player of all time, the greatest professional athlete of all time, because he's got 7 and Jordan's got 6.
What about Bill Russell?
Well, don't confuse a good argument with facts.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a soccer player in the
modern,
EPL or
but
something.
Modern. He shoots, he scores. All right. If you're Taysom Hill, would you rather? Oh, he is in the outline. Would you rather wait another year in New Orleans with Sean Payton as your coach, and then you become the quarterback in 2021 after Drew Brees retires, assuming he comes back, or start at quarterback somewhere else in 2020?
Okay, Mike, I have a question for you. It's a very simple question. Do you think Sean Payton is a good football coach?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Teddy Bridgewater is a franchise quarterback?
No.
Okay. Therefore, what was Sean Payton doing when Drew Brees got hurt and didn't put in future franchise quarterback, that's Mike Florio saying that, Taysom Hill, and instead putting in not franchise quarterback Teddy Bridgewater?
Here's why. Once you make Taysom Hill the quarterback, you can't use him for all that other stuff. This was a way to let
But
Taysom
he's a
Hill
franchise quarterback, Mike. He's a franchise quarterback.
Hey, listen, Sean, you've been waiting all week. You think you're going to put me in a box with that?
I just put you in a box. You make no sense. It's so simple. If you think Sean Payton's a good head coach and you think that Teddy Bridgewater isn't a franchise quarterback, then you're saying that Sean Payton willingly put in a lesser quarterback under the assumption that Taysom Hill is a franchise quarterback, like you said. He willingly put in the lesser quarterback to win games when you had a franchise quarterback ready to go on the roster. According to Mike Florio, again, I don't think Taysom Hill's a franchise quarterback. That's absolute insanity.
Well, first of all, it worked. They won the 5 games. With
That
Teddy
has nothing to do with it. No. The results, it's not the results. It's at the moment in time. Do you think that if Sean Payton actually thought Taysom Hill was a franchise quarterback, he wouldn't have put him in there and said, I'm playing the best guy? The coaches in the NFL always play the best guy in that situation.
Let me go next level on you with this.
Okay.
We got to consider Taysom Hill's contract situation.
Oh,
Final
my
year of his deal. No. Look, they already have to worry about somebody potentially making him an offer as a restricted free agent. And Sean Payton told Peter King, Super Bowl week, they're bracing for that. Somebody in the lower part of round 1 making an offer for Taysom Hill, and then the Saints have to decide, can they and will they match it? They don't want to lose this guy. They found this guy. This is one of the great discoveries of Sean Payton's career, and he wants to keep him. And if you showcase him for 5 weeks when Drew Brees is out and he becomes Steve Young, and Sean Payton is the one who says the vision for Taysom Hill is Steve Young. Are you kidding me? And Sean Payton is not a guy who recklessly engages in hyperbole. Once you put that Steve Young label on the guy, that tells me you believe in him. And Jay Glazer reported during Super Bowl week, and if you want to doubt Jay Glazer, I'll let him come put you in a headlock and you know he'll do it. He reported that they view Taysom Hill as a franchise quarterback, and Taysom Hill views himself as a franchise quarterback. It astounds me. And it makes me wonder whether the mouth breathers on Twitter even pay attention to what's going on in the NFL, because you throw out this idea like I did the other day that Taysom Hill is a future star in the NFL, and these people lose their minds. Have you not watched Taysom Hill play? Have you not seen the impact that
Mike,
he has? But did you not watch him in the preseason against the Chargers? The guy has the potential to be an NFL starter.
Preseason,
and when
Mike.
when you're tied up,
Preseason.
I said preseason. Did I not say preseason?
No, I know.
Did I
I'm
stutter?
just repeating it. No, I'm repeating it for everyone. Preseason.
Yeah, okay, preseason. I'll stipulate that it was the preseason. My point is this. You put a guy like that with Sean Payton. You put a guy with that skill set with Sean Payton. The biggest concern is keeping him healthy because he had injuries at the college level. Can he stay healthy as a full-time guy at the NFL level? But I don't know what was going on inside Sean Payton's brain when he decided to go with Teddy Bridgewater over Taysom Hill, because I thought at a minimum it would be a shared arrangement between Bridgewater and Hill. But Hill is the guy they envision taking over for Drew Brees when Drew Brees retires. And if Drew Brees stays, expect to see a lot more Taysom Hill this year. And Hill said it himself. He views himself as a franchise quarterback, and if the Saints don't view him that way, he has to leave. That's simple.
6 career completions.
I know.
Hold on, Mike. Let me ask you this. Explain this
passes.
to me. Explain this to me, Mike. Explain this to me, Mike. How
many passes did Steve Young have behind Joe Montana?
Mike, Steve Young was a starting quarterback in the NFL before he went to the 49ers. What are you talking about?
Oh, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I'm sorry. Did that not count? Is that preseason?
He was stuck.
You're
yeah,
crazy.
With Tampa Bay, yes.
You're crazy. Mike, give me this question. Answer this question. What happens if someone else goes and pays for Taysom Hill? Do the Saints get anything in compensation?
They get a first-round pick.
What? They get a what? Wait,
if they apply the first round.
Hold on. Are you saying then it probably benefits Sean Payton to pump up Taysom Hill and put air in his tires? Is that what you're saying?
So why wouldn't he have played him? So you're saying he didn't Listen, Big Cat, did you watch the Vikings-Saints game? Did you watch the Vikings-Saints game?
Yes, of course I did.
Or were you watching a dog show?
And I know you're lying. He had gimmick plays, and he's a very good weapon. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's completed 6 passes. I just dominated you in this.
You know, I've got 4 fingers here. And I've got one I'd really like to show you right now. But this is a dream job that I don't want to become a nightmare.
No, Mike, all joking aside, I absolutely 100% wipe the floor with you in this argument.
Okay. Sure
all joking aside.
All joking aside, never mind. We'll be back right after this with more PFT Live.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.